What's going on, guys? King Strats here, back into the video on the channel. And today we have another double review. Krispy Kreme dropped a new Valentine's Day line of donuts, so we got those. But on the way back, wasn't sure what to get. I stopped at a Moe's and also wanted to try their new Birria, so we got that. Funny enough, sorry for the noise. I didn't know this, but if you go on Uber Eats, you can actually get a 2-for-1 deal. So I'm gonna show you what I got real quick. Drop a thumbs up. You guys already know the vibes, man. Let's get into this video. We have got the 2-for-1 on their new birria bowls. Comes with the birria, of course, cilantro lime rice, black beans, peppers and onions grilled, roasted corn salsa, shredded cheese, pico de gallo, sour cream, fresh jalapenos, poblano crema on the side. That's this right here. I tried their sauces a while ago, and this was my favorite one. Both of these came out to $16 total. For 1 and 2, not for 1. It was buy one, get one free on Uber Eats. Check your Uber Eats. They always have BOGO deals. And if you pick up, there's no delivery charges. So I literally ordered right outside. No problem with that. Also, got a thing of their red salsa. Can't forget this. Had to get a cup of their queso. I got one of their stacks. The stack is something that I really like. It's like their version of a Crunchwrap, but it's a massive version. There's Birria in here also, so we're gonna try this as well. And then the Krispy Kreme Love Notes donuts. These are what they look like. There are 3 different kinds. We'll get into that after we do the Moe's. I also got these 2 bags of chips from my Wegmans haul. The Doritos Blazing Buffalo and Ranch, as well as these. They're like their version of Takis. They're, what kind of flavor is this? Chili lime. I can't even read. So I got these chili lime ones I'm gonna mix with this burrito bowl, but I got a little hack that I wanna do with this. So I'm gonna heat this up because I saw all over the internet that people take their burrito bowls from different places and they heat them up. I'm not the biggest fan of Chipotle, but I do like Moe's. So I'm gonna heat one of these up and then kind of see what it's hitting on. There we go. See how that cheese is all melty? I'm gonna stir this up. That's part 1. By the way, I keep these in my house. I have like a lifetime supply of these. It's easier than using dishes, and I use it when I cook at night. I make 2 of these, and then I just eat them as I go. Just so you know, this isn't something I bought for this video. I got a bunch of these. You probably noticed the black clear ones before that I use in other videos, but I also have these, which are like recyclable. So, just in case you were wondering. And yes, they did give me their chips, but I wanted to use Doritos. Damn, I still got some left over. And a whole other bowl, bro. Poblano crema. Wow, this is actually like crema. I'm gonna just put that right here. And some salsa. This looks crazy. That's that drool. Well, I don't even know where to start. Let's do this. I do want to try their birria, which is right here, so I'm gonna grab a fork real quick. When I open this bowl up, there's really not a lot in here, but that's probably the biggest chunk that we'll get. Okay. Being 100% honest, it has the same texture as their carnitas, but just like a smoky taste to it. Is it bad? No. Does it taste like birria? Emphatically, hell no. So I'm not going to give it too high of a rating, because I don't think you need to really get it. But understand it's more because I just feel as if it's inaccurate. Let me try one more bite though. Nice big piece right here. Yeah. Doesn't taste bad. It just don't taste like birria. Like there's no consomme or anything that just gives you that birria taste. And I've had birria burritos from a lot of different places. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. But in here, with this, You can sign me up for this all day. One thing I would do different, if I was to do this again, I would ask for more sour cream on the side. Because they didn't give me enough sour cream. And I think it would have made it even better. But other than that, if I went there with 2 people and got this and a bag of Doritos, under 20 bucks and you got a fat meal. Because there's still some left in here. And I have an entire full one over here that I'm not going to touch. That I'm going to give away. So, all in all, is the birria worth it? My answer is no. Doesn't mean I don't like Moe's. Doesn't mean I wouldn't eat it. It just means it doesn't taste like birria. That will not stop me from eating this. But I also want to try their stack. Now, this is their birria stack. So I loaded it up with pretty much everything you see in that burrito bowl, but I put it in their version of a crunch wrap. Their stacks come stock with queso. This is how large it is. It's not small at all. But let's just bite it from here. There's way more birria on here. When I get stacks, I have to get the rice on the inside. It just eats so much better. Let's do this. A little bit of that poblano. This thing is underrated. Maybe it's because I did the buy one, get one free, but there is way more birria on here. And there's the queso and everything. This just hits a lot better. It just doesn't taste like birria, if I'm being real. It just has the smell, but not that like intense flavor that you would get if it was sitting in consomme. But I guess you shouldn't expect that when you're going to a place like Moe's. I just don't think it's worth it, but this is much better. If I was picking anything from Moe's to put in here, this wouldn't be my first choice. It would be like my third or fourth. First being their steak. I prefer their steak over anything, but I still would give this a 7.5 out of 10. I'm not dissatisfied. I just don't think it tastes like birria. And you don't really pay that much extra. I think it's like $1 extra for that topping. I'm okay with that. So Krispy Kreme has their new line of Love Note donuts, which are Valentine's Day themed. There are 3 different kinds. We're going to try them all out. I'm going to start with the one on the left. I don't know what these names are, but it has pink frosting with some like candy colored stuff and a chocolate heart on the top. Cream filling. It's pretty light. It's nice and airy. I like pink frosting on donuts. And the filling has the same taste as like a Twinkie. This thing is really sweet, and that's coming from someone who likes Krispy Kreme, but it's almost over the top sweet, which is crazy to say. I like this, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get it. I would give this a 6.5 out of 10. Now we have a red one that I think this is also filled, but it comes with sprinkles as well. I thought there was a chocolate one in here. I guess it's maybe this one, but I saw one on the box that had like chocolate with a red rose, but this one seems different. Yeah, it is filled. See, I can see there's a little hole they used to pipe this. What kind of filling is this? Okay, first of all, they barely filled this thing. The filling stops here, and when I open it up on this side, there's literally nothing. So they're just like, they got lazy on it. I really didn't get much filling at all. There's just a really sweet, artificial red tasting one on this. Also disappointing. I like the first one better. This one is like one of the worst Krispy Kremes I've ever had, which is saying something, because it's hardly ever something I'd say from a place that I like as much. But I would give this a 4 out of 10. And last, we have this donut called Without You, I'd Crumble, which, because there's little crumbly pieces on here of, smells like Reese's. There's Reese's on here? Oh boy. Is this got some filling in it? I don't see any. All right, let's give it a go. Chocolate filling. Lots of it. What the hell is this? This is the most disappointing Krispy Kreme. These are all mid to me. Like, this has chocolate filling, but this crumbly part, it just tastes like crumbly pieces of bread or dough or something. I don't... Wow, this one sucks. You never thought I'd say so. Y'all think I like everything. I would never order these again. I don't like Valentine's Day either, so maybe that's why. This last one, I would give a 3 out of 10. They need to bring back the Biscoff ones. So we got the Wegmans Chili Lime. These are like Takis, but their version of it. I have come a long way. I used to not like Takis at all, and now I like them, and some of them I love them, which is why. So I want to see if they're store-bought brand. Where's the color? These better taste good, because they don't like to have anything on them. I'm a fan of Wegmans now, too, so this, I hope this ain't a letdown. I'll be honest with you, the taste is there. Way more lime than chili. Not much chili, which is kind of expected, given that the pale color of these compared to some of the other brands like Takis or the Dinamita Doritos. The texture is also not the same as either of those two. They taste more stale, even though I just opened this bag. They don't have that same crunch that I like from these. This bag was like $2 for a big bag. So it does have a bootleg vibe to it. They're not necessarily bad, but if I'm comparing these to the other two, they are sorely lacking on flavor and texture. Comparing those to those, I would give these a 5 out of 10. They're okay, but I would still buy those over this any day. Let's chat. I got something that to talk about today, as usual. Again, when I give these a 5, doesn't mean I don't like them. So if you say, why are you still eating them? Because I still like them. They're just nowhere near as good as the other joints. That's just my opinion. But let's get into this. What is that? They gave me more Birria than I thought. Look at this. It tastes like carnitas to me, but I was watching, there's a website called Bleacher Report. I use the app, and I saw an interview. Now, again, this is sports related, but it's not pertaining to sports specifically. But I saw an interview that was post-game with Klay Thompson. For people who don't know who Klay Thompson is, has played for the Golden State Warriors for a long time. Very decorated player, Hall of Fame caliber player, one of the best players of his era, on one of the best teams of that era. And he's at the point now in his career where his skills are starting to decline, which is horrible to say. But yesterday they won the game, but he didn't play almost the entire fourth quarter. So a reporter went up to him afterward in the locker room and asked him, more or less, how do you feel about getting benched in the fourth quarter? And I felt horrible because you could see the look of resignation on his face about him just saying, yeah, how do you think it feels? It sucks. You know, I just, for whatever reason, it's just not there, but we won the game. He's trying to be a politician, which I get. You know, you don't want to do anything to hurt the team, but at the end of the day, you're a great player in your time, and it's not easy to kind of let go of that wheel. We have been so spoiled as basketball fans because we think that what some of these players are doing right now is normal. LeBron James is 39, and I don't know if he stopped dyeing his hair or something, but he has noticeably been gotten grayer in like a month span. Where normally when people turn gray, there's a couple, then there's a couple more, and a couple more. He went from having like 3 or 4 to like 50 gray hairs. Quick. And I'm not dissing that. It's just noticeable. Like he's starting to, he looks 39, which is not a bad thing. But what he's doing is not normal. It's not normal for people to be playing at that level of basketball at that age. By the time most of us turn 30 as men, and women, I think, our joints start creaking and cracking. Quick. You get up and you start hearing little cracks and you're like, oh. And this guy is still out here playing major minutes at almost 40. So, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant are in their mid-30s, still playing major minutes. These guys are all-time greats. Some of the best to ever play the game. And I know Kevin Durant kind of tarnished his legacy, but it doesn't take away from the fact that his skill set is still ridiculous for a basketball player. And he's still an all-time great. He just took himself out of the greatest conversation, but that's another day. To watch Clay say that stuff, it just... I'm looking in the comment section, there's people like, oh, yeah, you know, you fell off. Like, Father Time is undefeated. I don't care who you are. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. I mean, thousands and, well, millions of years ago, there were dinosaurs in this world. And they were running around probably not thinking there was going to be a guy talking to a camera about dinosaurs, because they're extinct. And in a lot of players' careers, I think there just comes a point in time where your body just doesn't do what it used to do. And he's lost a lot of lateral movement, ability to move side to side. And what made him great, his jumper just isn't falling anymore. And it's just one of those things that it was just very sad to see that. And just seeing it happen in real time, it sucks. Most people don't get to walk away from the game on their own terms. They usually start declining and then say, okay, time for me to go. We've just been so spoiled, like guys like Tom Brady, LeBron, Cristiano Ronaldo, who has declined as well. Messi, who is still at the peak of his power, but kind of went to a less competitive league and is still doing his thing. But I've said this in other videos, and I'm going to say it again. That's a part of life. I don't want people to think that because they're not doing something they used to do. That could have been bad. That it's a bad thing. And in our country, in the United States, should I say, I know some of you aren't from here, we tend to chastise men and women for aging, as if it's a process you can stop. You can slow it, not chronologically, but you can appear younger. But there's nothing wrong with getting older. The thing I always say is the goal is to get old. You're supposed to. If you get old, it means you're still alive. And that's just a part of it. And we're so afraid in this society, I don't know what it's like in other places, but here, of getting old, that we do so many different things, cosmetically, mentally, to stay young. It's okay to be older and still be yourself and be the best version of you at 40 or 50 or 60, but you can't be 20 anymore. I understand there's certain things, like guys, we're afraid of losing our hair, we're afraid of going gray. Some of us don't care, which I'm thinking I'm be cool when I get gray. I'm trying to be one of them salt and pepper dudes. To be honest with you, but I know there's a lot of younger people than me. I know I'm not old. I say I'm old, but I only mean mentally. That you tend to start teasing people like, oh, she's old or he's old. Like, I hope that y'all get old. And I mean that. Because that means you're still here. And one day you're going to feel the same way about it too. But I think that you just have to look at your life as chapters. And there's just different chapters in life. There's you that was at school, whether that's high school or college, you in your career, you with your family. There are chapters. And you have to find different things to do because there's always a next step. And I know, ladies, you feel as if men in general judge you on your youthfulness. And I understand that because that's what you see on social media. But I'm telling you this is any age of guy. Even when I was 20, there's something very attractive about a woman who's aging. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with crow's feet. There's nothing wrong with even gray hair. Nothing. And I'm not speaking on behalf of all men, but I do know there are a lot of men who really don't mind it at all. And just being your natural best version of yourself is okay. I like the fact that there have been new celebrities. I think Pam Anderson which, you know, she's been in show business for a long time, since I can remember my entire life, where recently she started going out with, like, you know, no makeup and kind of just letting her hair be gray, and other women have been doing the same thing. That's really awesome. Like, if y'all can, just take that back, because, like, don't let people fool you in thinking that we all like this really, really made up, almost synthetic looking beauty standard that has kind of happened in the last 5 or 6 years. Beauty standards when I was a young kid and a teenager were completely different. It was more about people enhancing their natural selves, where I think now you're seeing a lot more of the, and this is even young women, 18, 19-year-old women getting lip fillers, injections, BBLs, all this kind of stuff, because you think that's what we all want as men, or maybe just to feel good about yourself because you don't want to feel that way. I don't think that social media is telling you the right part of the truth. The same way that a lot of women will say that they like kind of a guy that's graying. I've heard it. Or things of that nature. I know y'all get on the ball, dudes. I'll talk about in a second. But it's the same thing we feel about women. Some of the things you view as imperfections, we kind of like as men. And I don't want you to think otherwise. I can't speak on behalf of all men, but the overwhelming majority of men prefer natural, even aging. What a lot of men don't prefer is when a lot of women celebrities now will almost mess with their face and they don't look like themselves anymore. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying not to, because it's not my place to say what to do with your own body or your face, but when you look like a faker version of yourself, it becomes, like, startling. For the ladies and even the men that get on older guys about their hair, for example, there's two things that are absolute. Again, unless you go to Turkey and get that fix, it's just a genetic thing. It's gonna happen. So to tease someone about something that's genetically occurring is crazy. I don't really think that you're getting the message, because, again, if you're a dude who's 25 and you're dissing a guy who's 50 or 40 because he didn't have his hair, Father Time is undefeated. Just remember that, because it's going to happen to you too. And for the women that say, oh, I don't want to date a bald guy, or I don't want to marry a guy who's losing his... Y'all gonna get old. Eventually your husband, even if you marry him at 25, is gonna be a bald guy probably at 50. It's just gonna happen. And I don't think you're gonna care when you love somebody. I don't really think that you're looking at the right things if you're just talking about, you know, wanting someone that's gonna... Unless you're gonna take him to Turkey. Because I took a big bite there. Whatever your beauty standards are as a woman, the ones you try to uphold for yourself, unless you feel like day in and day out for the rest of your life, you're going to look the same or carry yourself the same way, which is rare. Usually as people start to age, they start caring, not less and less, but about the outward part of it. Sometimes they're like, man, I've been doing this for 40 years. I don't really care. I'm putting my hair in a ponytail for the next 10 years. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because the guy who loves you is not going to care. So keep him to that same standard. Now, if you're a person who feels like you're always going to be the best version of yourself, no matter what, a lot of people get married, they have children, things change. So just keep that stuff in mind. What really matters when it comes to any kind of relationship is the bond that y'all have, not physical appearance. You don't want it to be the reason that you're there. Because the way you look today is not how you're going to look in 20 years. No matter what, you are going to look different. And that comes with the territory. So find somebody you love and get old together. Because that's the goal. Get old. Hopefully you get a family. Hopefully that family gets a family. And then you got grandkids. And that's the beautiful thing. So that's going to be the end of the video, man. Krispy Kreme was the biggest letdown I've had probably since I went to go see Thor. Yikes. This bowl was a dub. The stack is a dub. But if you're there, because I did mine on DoorDash, I didn't see him make it, I'd have been staring at them put that video in, because I didn't really get a lot. And here I did. Just to keep it in mind. Not worth it in my opinion. I already said that. You know I don't like being negative, but I'm just being honest. It's not worth it. We'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.